Hey, what's going on, APA fans? It is GeneralTarheel bringing you the APA Classic Season 17 Week 3 battle versus the Virginia Victinis and Crow. Now, unfortunately, we are going to try and get off of a unfortunate loss from last week. Really unfortunate versus Ogle. Just made a good play, and I was really on the back foot for most of the game, it felt like, because of Pheromosa in the back. So hopefully we can capitalize this week. My opponent only has one Uber this time around. Very strong Uber in Ho-Oh, but only one, so hopefully we're able to deal with it appropriately. As for the rest of their roster, apart from Ho-Oh, which typically you'll always see run heavy-duty boots nowadays, we got Mega Diancie, which is really good, like, Magic Bell's easier to help out Ho-Oh in case they opt not to run heavy-duty boots, as well as just an amazing offensive threat, especially getting the speed as soon as it Mega Evolves. Really, really solid Pokemon. Lottie, of course. Amazing Z users, so scary to see that. Good offense, good bulk, defog, setup, Calm Mind, stored power, etc. Umbreon, just a good wall wish passer for this team. Skarmory, defog, defensive bulk, body press, huge with it. Iron defense, body press, Brave Bird. Spike, Stealth Rocks, which is great. You know, gets pressure off Diancie for Stealth Rocks. Roserade with spikes and T-Spikes, just a really solid grass type, my favorite one to ever exist. Quagsire, Unaware, of course, as you can see the trend with this team. Porygon, solid, fat, normal type, obviously always running the Violite, could be ran offensive if it wanted to. And Virizion offensive, Carkol and Pikachu are irrelevant. Looking at this team, I just see it as borderline stall with good offense, I'd say. That's just how I view it. I just see it as obviously it's not full stall because they do have offensive potential, but it's just really, really, I can't even call it bulky offense. I mean, like, there is offense, but I don't see it as in just the actual term for bulky offense. I don't know, but Crow's been doing okay with it. Ho-Oh is a little intimidating. The first thing that I noticed on the matchup is that this kind of sucks for my team. My grassy terrain is immediately shut out. Kartana plus Rillaboom is shut out by the likes of Ho-Oh plus Skarmory immediately. And it really sucks, in all honesty, because those are two like big offensive threats on my team, so not having them this week is going to be kind of big for me, especially when I have to break this fat of a team and deal with everything like that. When you got Wish Pass Umbreon and regen Ho-Oh, it's a lot to take in. Especially when my hazards aren't the greatest and I'm not able to pressure things as much as I'd like. So first off for my team, we have Choice Band, Speed Boost, Blaziken. Going in and abusing the new moves. I have Close Combat. You will see that now on instead of High Jump Kick. Be oddly specific for me, want to risk High Jump Kick, but Close Combat probably for the rest. So we're running Adamant. We got Close Combat, Flare Blitz, Knockoff, U-Turn. Knockoff is really nice versus their entire team. Flare Blitz plus CC could potentially clean up in the late game, especially if Ho-Oh is gone. Ho-Oh and Lottie more than likely. Knockoff plus U-Turn is really nice just to see what they want to switch into. On Blaziken, one, I can knock off, get rid of Ho-Oh's boots. Get rid of something on Lottie if that's the answer, or Quag. I just get to check all of that, which is really good. U-Turn could give me momentum, but more than likely I'm going to be clicking Knockoff immediately, unless I have a free situation where I can just click Flare Blitz, which is probably the most spammable move versus their team. Nah, Close Combat's technically probably the most spammable, but either or is pretty good. Blaziken's really just going to be used for breaking. That's all it is. I'm not really too much of a pivot. It's just it can really go in and just threaten a team greatly. I probably should have considered Rock Slide for Ho-Oh, just so I actually had something to break it, considering that's a decent switch into Blaziken. So, should have thought about that over U-Turn potentially, since I wasn't really going to pivot much, and I knew that. So, alright, next up we have Dialga. This set I was looking forward to the most. We got Safety Goggles with the pressure ability, of course. We got Bulk Up, Heavy Slam, Dragon Claw, and Rock Slide. Originally, I wanted to make a Iron Defense. Oh my gosh, how did I just say that? Iron Defense. Iron Defense Body Press set. But Body Press spam wasn't as good as Heavy Slam. Heavy Slam with Dialga's weight is huge in terms of damage versus their team. Their potential checks in the like of Porygon and Umbreon was initially the reason I wanted Body Press, but the fact Heavy Slam does more even after an Iron Defense is crazy. So Bulk Up still just seems good for that. It's a way to boost Dialga's attack and then still be able to deal with it after. So this is basically just going to be, one, a designated check to Roserade. That's why I'm putting on the Safety Goggles. I debated Chople for fighting type, not resist, but weaken fighting type moves from Virizion, which I think is pretty likely. Or just go with the overall Citrus Berry to get health back later on, which I felt like was probably the best option. Because the likes of Mega Diancie with Earth Power, Offensive Lottie with Draco, and then Virizion Close Combat, those are easily able to weaken Dialga, so getting the boost back in health would be really nice. So that way I can take out at least one other Pokemon when it comes down to it. But overall, this is pretty good. Obviously, Rock Slide is for O. +1 Dragon Claw will OHKO Lottie unless it's like fully Fizz Def, which I'm not really expecting this week. They need to be speed versus me. I'm expecting overall an offensive Lottie. It makes the most sense to me. They could be max speed, max HP. That's definitely possible. If they want something to slightly deal with Blaziken better, but I'm just expecting offensive max speed with special attack investment and everything. So, yep. So Dialga doesn't have to worry about Roserade at all. Switching in Safety Goggles will protect us from Sleep Powder. They want to spam hazards versus us as Dialga sets up. I'm perfectly fine with that. Looking like a very, very solid set to be annoying for the rest of the team. But even though this is my best potential killing multiple Pokemon, I wouldn't call it my sweeper or win con. Per se, which is pretty rough. I didn't actually build one this week, which is really strange for me, and I'm going to have to play with that accordingly. But overall, I think Dialga will catch them off guard on the physical side and do really well with Heavy Slam and Bulk Up. I don't really know if I'll be able to click Dragon Claw plus Rock Slide, but we might be able to, depending on how hard Dialga eats, considering we do have a max HP investment and a lot of speed def to help me versus the likes of Latios and Mega Diancie. Next up, we have Togekiss here. I debated a lot of things with Togekiss. Like defensively bulky with Chardy just to help me deal with Virizion and then maybe get some damage and cheese off Mega Diancie. But I don't know why. I thought Togekiss had Flash Cannon, but I was completely wrong. I was probably thinking of something else, like when I was trying to prep Flash Cannon versus a Togekiss or something of the sort. But would have been really nice to have Steel coverage. I know I could Steel Wing, but that's just not good versus Diancie. I definitely want it to be a special attack investment, so rip Hidden Power Steel, but I think it's good Hidden Power is gone in the first place. So we're running Choice Scarf, Air Slash, Ancient Power, Dazzling Gleam, Flamethrower. I originally had Trick over Flamethrower, but one, I want to be able to hit Skarmory harder because my team does struggle versus a little bit. And two, I really want to rely on keeping the Scarf around in case I need to flinch down the likes of... I straight OHKO Virizion, which is important for me to outspeed that, considering nothing on my team will outspeed it except Alolan Persian, which obviously does nothing to it, and Blaziken after one speed boost. Plus I have to be locked into something that will actually kill it, so... Also, I wanted to make sure, something for the Mega Diancie just to get off chip if I needed to. 2 Air Slashes might be able to pick up a KO at one point if I get the flinch, obviously. And Lottie could be a little bit annoying. An offensive Dazzling Gleam is nice versus Lottie in case I am scared of a setup set. So overall, just standard kind of Togekiss set, just not running Trick, and running Ancient Power obviously for the Ho, which has a good chance to a KO. I do also have the 20% chance to get the Omni Boost on it, but I don't really think that's that beneficial for this Togekiss, obviously, because Ancient Power versus like potential Virizion or Umbreon after isn't really going to do anything at all. So I have to keep that in mind, but other than that, it's looking pretty good. Alolan Persian, I felt like this was very good versus their team, purely because Parting Shot versus their light offensive presence, I'd say. Really helped benefits my decent bulk. So Parting Shot moving around with that is pretty good. I don't even care about Magic Bounce with Parting Shot, because if they switch Mega Diancie out, they're doing me a favor. But in case I want to get cheeky and I am in versus the Diancie at any case, I'm able to click Iron Tail and I do OHKO it, assuming it's a minus defense nature Mega Diancie, which I feel like is pretty possible. They can go either minus defense or minus def, but they're going to want to be to run mixed with Diamond Storm, obviously. I just have to land a 70% accurate move. That's all it really comes down to. And then Knockoff, once again, good versus their bulk, getting rid of like leftovers on Umbreon and Skarmory, stuff like that. Taunt's also really good to limit any wishes, Heal Bell, anything of the sort. Next up, we have Blastoise. Also, Alolan Persian is my designated lead because it outspeeds everything versus their team unless potential Scarfers, and I'm able to Parting Shot out into anything that benefits my team the most because they don't really have that good of momentum on their team, like pivots with U-turn and such. So Blastoise here, speaking of pivot, we have heavy duty boots on this as well, which we'll get to in a moment. Running defensive with a little bit of speed to help benefit off the Rapid Spin. Running Rapid Spin just because hazards on Skarmory plus Roserade could get pretty annoying Flip Turn's really good for momentum versus their team. Liquidations, just in case I need to get off a decent hit versus the likes of Ho or Mega Diancie, because I am meant to take a hit from both of them. And Toxic's just a little bit helpful in case I need to get that on like Porygon 2, Umbreon, something like that, in case Blaziken doesn't want to get locked into CC or I lose Blaziken. Basically, the speed investment with the rapid spin boost lets me outspeed max speed Latios, so I can get a Toxic on it after, I believe, or I was just meant to outspeed Ho. I think I was just outspeeding Ho after a +1 with rapid spin. Flip Turn just gives me nice momentum, and Ho does a lot of damage with Brave Bird. So assuming they're just max attack Jolly with heavy duty boots on Ho, this investment with heavy duty boots allows me to always come in and take 2 Brave Birds, which is great. If I wanted to run like lefties and stuff, coming in on like multiple hazards, there's a chance if it's Stealth Rock plus Spike, I'm not able to take 2 Brave Birds from Ho. So I wanted to make sure to run heavy duty boots, make sure I eat it, and then that also allowed me to run speed onto Blastoise to benefit me more off of a rapid spin boost, like I mentioned. So really just there to be a bulky pivot for Mega Diancie and Ho. Nothing else really. Flip Turn's just really helpful because obviously they're just not going to keep OO in, maybe get some regen, so then I get to pivot in and hopefully get in something like Blaziken or Dialga and capitalize on that. Next up, we have Nidoqueen running the Shucca Berry for the Mega Diancie Earth Power, and obviously running Sheer Force, but we're bringing Physical Queen this week. I debated a lot between Physical and Special, and I felt like Physical just had slightly more benefit. We're running Stealth Rock in case I do get the knockoff with the Alolan Persian and Blaziken on stuff like the Ho-Oh mainly, and then maybe like the Skarmory. We're getting good damage on everything at that point with like Stealth Rocks over time. And just pressuring, the ability to pressure Ho-Oh with Stealth Rocks if they didn't actually bring proper removal is going to be huge. So I feel like they're forced to bring it every week on one of their Pokemon, whether that's like Lottie, or they're just going to play Magic Bounce correctly or something of the sort. They definitely need to be careful of that because knockoff's pretty easy to bring on most teams. Physical Earthquake plus Sucker Punch allows me to deal with Mega Diancie. Obviously, I take a hit with a Shucca Berry very well, and then I'm able to get off an EQ and kill it with Sucker Punch the following turn. That's really just the main thing to keep that in mind. Also, Physical Ice Punch just helps me more versus the likes of Latios and Virizion. Obviously, those two Pokemon have better special defensive bulk on their side, so hitting them physical is a little bit more beneficial. Really nothing too else to consider apart from that. The only other thing I really thought of was, well, one, not considering Sucker Punch, even though I think it is important for the likes of Lottie if it's just fully offensive. And obviously the 2-turn deal, like I said, with Mega Diancie with Earthquakes plus Sucker. And then I'm also able to... what am I talking about? Sucker was just important. But Stealth Rocks also seemed good, but if I just ran Rock Slide on Nidoqueen, maybe it would have been a little bit more beneficial. But just keeping that in mind. Overall, really weird I don't have a designated sweeper. Blaziken really doesn't have the opportunity to sweep, I'd say. Dialga is really just opening up. I can't really see it killing 2 Pokemon unless he gives me some Pokemon like Blaziken or Togekiss. There's a possibility Togekiss can't sweep at the end. I do have to get rid of the likes of, or like really weaken Umbreon and Mega Diancie first, I'd say. Ho-Oh with a special bulk would be pretty annoying as well, especially if they're a pressure version. I'm expecting regen, obviously, but if they want to be pressure and just get rid of Air Slashes over time by pivoting with like Umbreon Wish into Ho-Oh with pressure, that would be pretty annoying. So just have to keep those in mind. And going into the battle here, I will get rid of the displays you see. We are facing Crow, and they bring basically the 6 I expected. The only other ones I considered on their team was potentially Porygon, because it's a little bit difficult for me to switch into that, apart from Dialga, which in their case, they can just T-Wave Dialga, and that's perfectly fine for them. Also, there was still the potential on Roserade. I don't think it had the greatest matchup, but it was good versus like my grassy terrain abusers. And I don't have the best switch in apart from Dialga as well. So if they were able to pressure Dialga easily, those 2 Pokemon would have been good. But no surprise to see the 6 of Umbreon, Skarmory, Mega Diancie, Lottie, and Virizion. Obviously, Lottie can't be a Z-move user, so I knew I had to scout that properly. Looking at the team, though, once again, just expecting Buto, probably offensive based off their team, and that's what I was expecting in this build in general, especially when they have the opportunity potentially to KO Blastoise. I don't really know if it'd be fully defensive Scarm, probably mixed in like most Scarms in draft. Umbreon could be defensive, probably slightly more Spadef to help out with like Nidoqueen and Dialga. Diancie, just full offensive mixed for sure. Potentially carrying Stealth Rocks to help out for the team. And just running 3 attacks like a standard set. Lottie could be Scarf, Calm Mind, Bulky. It could be a lot of things. That's what makes Lottie so dang good. So I have to be really careful of that. And I don't really switch into it to 2 best. So we have to keep that in mind. Verzion, probably just offensive. Might be set up. I'm not expecting a Scarf set or anything, but I still have to respect it. So starting the match, I decided to leave Persian. I knew it was my designated lead. And we see they opt to go Virizion. Now, I knew there was a chance that they just go for a hard play and go for Stone Edge on Togekiss, but I still, in my mind, went Togekiss. I cannot explain why in the heck I would not go Nidoqueen when that is literally free rocks, because even if they're like offensive Leaf Blade and they go for that turn 1, Nidoqueen should be able to take 2. It's not the best option in the world, but it puts me in a better position, especially when they have normal Diancie, which switches into Togekiss completely fine. So, I just go into Togekiss here for some reason, and they immediately Stone Edge, and they get off 56% immediately, which really sucked. It really sucked. So, also, I didn't risk Persian and Parting Shotting immediately, just in case they were Scarf. I didn't want to get all that damage on Persian, because I felt like there was a good chance that I lived close combat, but I wasn't even going to think about it. I just went straight for Togekiss. Should have considered Nidoqueen, like I mentioned. But, this is fine. I'm going to make a double here in case they are Scarf with Stone Edge, because obviously they will outspeed my own Scarf and then KO me after. If they are Scarf, they will stay in and click Stone Edge 1,000,000% in case they want to catch off mine, because obviously we didn't see Life Orb. They're not a choice band based off that damage. It's an unknown item still at the moment. So I'm going to double out into Nidoqueen here as they also switch out and they go into Diancie. This is fine. I'm clicking Earthquake just in case they make the move. They go into Lottie. Very good play on this part. This pretty bad for me, but they just go for Beam here, which is great not to see Psychic, as I go for Ice Punch and put them at 44. And then this is where it's another situation here. If they do have Psychic and they just didn't click it, Nidoqueen drops, Sucker Punch does not kill it, and if there's a chance they go for a Roost or something of the sort to scout Sucker Punch, that's pretty bad for me, since Roosting isn't really bad considering Ice Punch did 56. You're not really losing too much chip off of scouting like that. So I made another double here on theirs and went Persian. Unfortunately versus Skarmory, which just really sucks. It's just like, I don't really know what to go into. Body Press is pretty annoying. I was like, wait, I can just Parting Shot. Body Press won't do as much. I get Blaziken hardened immediately. Forgetting that, of course, Body Press isn't affected by the Parting Shot. It only matters if it gets burned, because it's off the defensive stat. It really only affects with burn because it's a physical attack, which sucks. So they go for Body Press and Blaziken's already at half. So there's a good chance I die to the next one. And here I am sitting with Blaziken. I was like, I have all the power in the world to click Flare Blitz. I am totally fine with this. I see this as a no drawback play. In my mind, I'm thinking I Oko Skarmory. But here I am, a veteran of Pokemon, being a dumbass and forgetting that Skarmory has Sturdy. They went for a counter anyway, so even if I went for knockoff like a good play and got rid of their lefties and put in range of a Flare Blitz later on, that they would have, you know, I probably would have roosted even if I knocked. I'm pretty sure knockoff plus counter would have KO'd my Blaziken anyways. So I was still in a bad spot there no matter what. I really didn't take care of Skarm properly. I don't think I prepped for Skarm well in the first place, but based off its percentage, I'm easily able to go into Blastoise here and just click Flip Turn, and they do just get rid of Skarm, which is a little bit better for me, because if they were to play that properly later on, it could be really annoying. Even though anything on my team could pick up a kill on it, even at its low percentage. So, but we're going to go into Queen here as they go into Ho-Oh. I'm just going to go right into Blastoise. I really don't care, as they show EQ here. They do show to be offensive, based off that EQ damage, doing 23% to Blastoise. Right here, I'm just going to go to opt for the Flip Turn once again. Really no reason not to, as they go for a Toxic, and unfortunately they miss. That's really not going to come into play too much. But we do get nice 29% chip off, as they're just going to get all that right back with Regen later on, because Regen is the best ability in the game. As I go into Dialga here, because Dialga just allowed to do stuff. Now, based off that damage, I knew 100% with Flip Turn that was a HP offensive Ho-Oh. I don't understand why they opted to go that route when it literally outsped so many important things on my team. If they wanted to go max speed, or at least a good amount of speed, you know, they could still outspeed Dialga at max speed, which is pretty big considering they could output that EQ damage doing around 50 to 60% of Dialga. But I went for the bulk up nonetheless, because I expected them to switch. They don't know what I have. I could be physical and outspeed them immediately and kill them with Rock Slide. I knew they had to scout it. I didn't know what they would switch into, whether it was Hard Virizion or Umbreon. I knew it could be one of those two. Very, very unlikely they go Diancie or Lottie, obviously. So I'm just going to go for the hard bulk up, and it did pay off. Obviously, if they went for Earthquake Tears and went for bulk up, yes, I would have lived the next one. But then my Dialga was basically only for their Ho-Oh, which is nice, but wouldn't have benefited me too much in the long run, considering how well Dialga does kind of do versus their entire team. So considering Umbreon is in versus Dialga, this is where it would have been a little bit nicer to be Iron Defense Body Press because of Foul Play. That is 36%. Max roll, by the way. Which was a little annoying, not really too much, because Dialga still eats any hit from any of the Pokemon on their team. I think it still even eats a +1 close combat from Veriz at the moment. So, but this is really good because I'm able to just click Heavy Slam again with Dialga here. They really have nothing they can do about it as they go into Virizion on the Dialga here to keep their Umbreon healthy because they know Umbreon can probably just stall me out in the late game, depending if they're able to get rid of Dialga. So, good play on their part, playing typical, like, bulky matchup. And then here I am versus the Veriz. We eat the close combat, like I said, only doing 43%. And then I just go for another Heavy Slam because I have to just kill the threat in front of me. Obviously, there's nothing else I can do. I don't want to make a switch. Dialga's really not going to be able to do anything else like that again. So I really just have to kill it, what's in front of me, and just accept it. Right here, they go in the Diancie. I'm just going to click Heavy Slam. I don't care if they overpredict and I kill this thing. But obviously, they're not going to. They just click Earth Power. It's no drawback. I didn't gain anything by predicting you in Togekiss. Togekiss can't do anything to Mega Diancie. So I go for Earthquake again, hoping that they're going to take the bait, because normal Earth Power can kill me from where I'm at, but they still don't take it, obviously. I didn't really have good ways of getting around Diancie without my Rillaboom, but I really, really did not want Rillaboom versus Ho-Oh and Skarmory. So it was really tough this week for that reason, because Diancie became a threat because I wasn't able to bring my grassy stuff, and if it did, obviously they had the amazing support. I don't understand why Zarude gets Rock Slide, but Rillaboom doesn't get Rock Slide. That's whack. Rillaboom's just a better Zarude in the first place. You might as well give it the entire move pool to make it the better Pokemon. Dirt. Because then I would have been able to deal with Ho-Oh, and I could have just been an SD set with Drain Punch to help me deal with Skarmory in some way. So, it's cool. Just ranting. So I'm going to switch out into Persian here, which seems totally fine as they go Ho-Oh. I'm going to Parting Shot because I don't care what they do right here as I go into Blastoise. This time they go for the Toxic. Really no drawback for them, as it's probably not expecting me to go into Nidoqueen, obviously. I go for Liquidation this time because I don't know. I should have clicked Flip Turn. I knew there was a chance they go into Umbreon, and I did it anyways. So now they're just able to get a Wish Up unless I get a Liquidation crit, because after Leftovers right here, you can see they're obviously out of range of the next one. So I'm going to go for it just in case. Lies, I went for Toxic. I hate myself. Literally, that's the only way I break Umbreon with this team, because Ho-Oh plus Umbreon deals with Togekiss with Dazzling Gleam spam. Kind of mad I didn't go for that crit. Like, going for a crit's kind of sucky anyways, but like, that was literally my only play. I don't know if I was Toxic in case of Lottie. That's a bad play either way. I should have just went for Liqua. Yeah, like, it's not an area where you want to rely on a crit, but based off the position I put myself in, where my Breakers and Dialga and Blaziken are dead, I had to. When this bulky wall comes back in with a free Wish now, they can protect the following turn to not risk the crit. I'm just going to go hard Togekiss. They don't even do that. They Heal Bell, so I still had a second chance to crit them, which was a little surprising. They opted to do that. I go for Ancient Power here, trying to capitalize on the Ho-Oh. They go into Diancie. Smart play on their part. Somewhat. I guess it doesn't really matter. I think Ho-Oh was just safer because you have the HP on Ho-Oh. And obviously it is regen. So even if I went for Ancient Power, you could have went hard into Umbreon or Diancie afterwards and dealt with it accordingly. Because right here, if I actually wasn't Scarf Kiss, I might have just won the game. Yeah, no, I would have won the game if I wasn't Scarf Kiss. To be fair, I wouldn't have made the play like that. Obviously, I just would have clicked Gleam. But if I wasn't Scarf Kiss, I won. Because obviously, +1 Dazzling Gleam in general, Scarf was doing 50% to Diancie. So at +1, it's going to be doing 75 min, obviously. So that would KO. It KOs Umbreon at +1. Even if it doesn't, Umbreon's not going to do anything to me. KOs Lottie, and I obviously have the speed boost, outspeed it. And Ancient Power, even if it doesn't kill Ho-Oh with the +1 defense boost, I take the potential Brave Bird or Sacred Fire from that and deal with it in the next turn. So, would have been nice to not be Scarf here, but Scarf Togekiss was the best option for sure. It was just, once again, I knew the Ancient Power boost wasn't going to benefit me if I did get it. Really unfortunate. Because I would have had the game if I wasn't Scarf there. I went into Persian here thinking, okay, I'm going to take a Diamond Storm or Power Gem. I don't have to worry about it. And then I click Iron Defense the following, or sorry, Iron Tail the following turn. But they go for Diamond Storm and they get the 50% boost. I knew the boost existed. I forgot how high it was. So originally I was really pissed off they got the boost. I was like, are you kidding me? Because otherwise Iron Tail would have killed here. And I'm just going to click it because I didn't really care at this point. I know I lost no matter what with the likes of Ho-Oh plus Umbreon together. And I hit it and we get it low. So no crit. Not going to really hope for a crit at this point. I'm just going to start doing Togekiss things. I'm just going to click Dazzling Gleam to make sure I get the kill and everything. As they go into Ho-Oh here, I'm going to switch out into Nidoqueen. Just let Nidoqueen go down, get a Blastoise, get off some damage, and then just try to win with Nidoqueen. But I think I get greedy anyways here, and I go into Togekiss and just try to flinch down the rest of their team. But obviously that doesn't happen. So he's able just to do the rest, and he goes for unnecessary Wish Protects with Umbreon for the rest of the game. But I didn't even see that part because I left, but I'm sorry, I'm so used to it. Yeah, I can tell. Alright, so GG's to Crow. Well deserved because I don't know, man. I felt really off lately. Like, I don't think I should have lost versus Ogle. I played poorly there and I played poorly here. But this time, my prep was also off. Like, I want to blame the matchup, but there's matchups every week in Draft League. Yes, some are more beneficial than others, obviously. Like, my week 1 was a lot better than this week, for example, if I had to compare to. But I should still been able to work around it in some way. Like Rillaboom has U-turn, I could have benefited myself somehow with that. I don't know. I probably could have done something, but it's still kind of aggravating because I wasn't really able to break apart bulk, and that's kind of what I struggle with at moments. Obviously, I've always been against bulky playstyles, but that's just me. It's something I gotta overcome. Also, I just have to get over my stupidity. I really don't know what's been happening, where I'm just making these really bad plays and not even like realizing Skarmory has Sturdy. Like, I understand it happens to people. Don't give me that in the comments, please. Like, I'm just critiquing myself. I'm harsh on myself because I know I'm good. I'm much better than this. Take that egotistical if you want or whatever. I'm not that egotistical. Is that egotistical to say I'm not egotistical? It's not really humble of me, is it? I'm really confused now. Either way, I lost 3-0, so it doesn't really matter what I think. I'm a loser. So, taking that in effect, hopefully we can bring it back in one of the coming weeks. I'm really mad about this, though, because it's only a 10-week season, so the fact I'm 1-2 already puts me in a really bad position, because the bare minimum cutoff for playoffs is probably going to be 6-4, and that really makes me, for the last 7 weeks, go 5-2, which I'm not that big of a fan of. But obviously I'm going to aim for that 7-0, even though I do have my boy Panther in the last week, so that's going to be rough no matter what. I actually don't really know the rest of my schedule in between. I just know Panther has me the last week, which is typically something we always try to set up. So hopefully I can pick it back up. I took my time building too. I guess not enough. Should have looked back on it. Maybe got some more feedback, but I'll work on it. Umbreon's in 69. Nice. Nice. That's going to be it for me, y'all. See y'all next week. Okay, bye-bye.